Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching Heredity from Parent to Progeny part 1. So children, this is the lesson related to genetics. What is genetics, children? Genetics is a branch of biology that deals with the study of heredity and variations. Then come to the term heredity. What is heredity? Heredity is the study of transmission of characters from parents to offsprings, or from one generation to the next generation. Okay? See here the characters, how this image is representing the transfer of characters from one generation to other generation. Okay? The characters that are passed from one generation to other generation is called as heredity or hereditary characters. Okay? Once again I repeat, the characters that are passed from one generation to the other generation are called hereditary characters. Okay? And another term we come across that is called variations. Variations may be defined as the difference in characteristics shown by the individuals of a species and also by the offsprings or sublings of the same plants, sublings of the same parents. Okay, they are called variations. Okay, how these variations are taking place, how this heredity is possible. Okay, actually gene is the inherited factor that determines the biological characters of an organism. Okay, so it's very interesting lesson. I request your attention. Okay, shall we proceed, children? Let us proceed. When we observe our world, it's a myriad forms of life. We are struck by two seemingly opposite observations: the fantastic variety of life and the similarity between them. Okay, these two things we surprisingly, okay, these two things are opposite observations. As we shall see, we should need to understand these two characteristics of life in order to understand how life evolves. Okay? When we say that something evolves, we mean not only that it changes, but that there is also some component of the direction in that change. Okay? But how does evolution take place? How does evolution take place? What is evolution? Okay, the systematic, the continuous changes which are taking place in the living organisms, okay, come under this process of evolution. So this evolution occurs in a slow and steady manner or in a quick jumps. Okay, so how this evolution occurs a slow and steady manner or at a time. Okay, that we have to find. So is it just about change and producing something new and different? Think. Okay, so in the chapter, in this heredity from parent to progeny, in the chapter on reproduction, in the chapter reproduction, we have studied that the reproductive processes usually give rise to individuals that have some new characters in spite of the similarity that they share with their parents. Okay, we already studied the reproduction chapter. In that we have seen this. So, often such new characters, because the sexual reproduction, some new characters are produced due to the recombination. Okay. The new characters gives rise to observable changes in the life forms, in the living organisms. How are the new characters produced? What is the reason behind it? Are they inherited? Do they have any role in the process of evolution? Think. So, new characters and variations. What are the new characters and variations? To think of your own family. What similarities do you share with your father and your mother? Okay. Draw a table to represent the similarities of some characters like color of the eye, cornea, color of the hair, shape of the nose, shape of face, type of earlobe, attached or free. So, inner thumb, markings, and all these things, you draw a table representing the similarities of some characters, comparing you and your parents. Okay, what are the characters you have to compare? Color of eye, color of hair, shape of nose, shape of face, type of earlobe, and inner thumb markings, etc. Okay. So, you represent it in the form of a table. So, write your characters and that of your parents in two separate other columns. Okay, you make a table like this. So, how many similar characteristics do you find among you and your parents? You have to identify those. Is there any character in you that is neither like your father nor like your mother? So, that you have to identify. Whether do you think you got such a character from? Let us do an activity to find out more about these characteristics. So, let us go for the activity 1. Compare your traits, your characteristics with the traits of your parents and grandparents by drawing a table, okay, as given below, like this: the character in you, and character in your mother or father, then character in your grandma and grandpa. Okay, you can compare. So, previously what the color of eye, cornea, that is, okay, and the earlobe, color of hair, and all these some characters you can mention here, and you can compare those characters, how they are in you and how they are in your father, mother, and your grandpa and grandma. Okay, this table you have to fill. Next, so after filling this table, is there any character in you similar to that of your mother as well as your grandma? Definitely, you observe it very carefully. Is there any character in you similar only to that of your grandma? How do you think these characters may have been inherited by you from grandma? Okay, so sometimes some of your relatives will say that, oh, your nose is like your grandma, okay, your ear is like your grandma, okay, your face shows lot of similarities with your grandma, like that you heard from your relatives whenever you attend a party or a function, isn't it? Okay, is there any character that is not present in grandma but present in your mother and you? That also you observe. Okay, think where from your mother got that character. Okay, so answer for these questions by the end of the activity you will be knowing. Okay, observe some of your friends and note their characters in the following table. Okay, fill in your as well. You have to fill it. Name of your friend, the color of skin, earlobe, whether it is free or attached, marking on inner side of the thumb, then length of forehead. Okay, with the help of scale you can measure the color of eyes, cornea, and any other features which are identifiable, which are new, okay, which are different. Those features you identify and you can mention. Okay, so all these columns you have to fill. Okay, so this is another activity you need to perform. Activity 2, compare your characters to that of any one of your friend, so that you will be knowing the difference. How many characters did you find were similar among you and your friend? Okay, do you identify any characters which are similar in you and your friend? So, do you share more similar characters with your parents or with your friend? Okay, these two. Next, do you think that your differences from parents are same as differences from friends? No. Okay, if it is yes, why? If it is no, why not? Okay, why not means there is no close relationship between you and your friend. Okay, you are only the classmates. But whereas if you take the parents, there is having some relationship, blood relationship, they will say, isn't it? Okay. See here the variations in the organs. You see different colors in the eye. This is blue color. Okay, this is cat eye. This is somewhat pale yellow, brown color. These are the 4 types of eyes which are commonly we can observe. Okay, among which the brown and black color are most dominant. Okay, then earlobe, you see it is attached earlobe. This kind of earlobe is called as attached earlobe, and this earlobe is a free earlobe. Okay, see sometimes you observe the hairs on the earlobe, isn't it? So different types of ears, and the variations you observe here. Variations means the changes, the differences you identify, the characters. Variations may be defined as the differences in characteristics shown by the individuals of a species and also by the offsprings or siblings of the same parents. Okay. So these variations you keenly observe. The differences in the characters within very closely related groups of organisms are referred to as variations. What are variations? Differences in characters within very closely related groups of organisms are referred to as variations. So often a new character in a group may lead to variations that are also inherited. Okay, very often you can see a new character in a group. It may be lead to variations that are also inherited. Inherited means that are also transferred to the offsprings. Okay, is variation all about apparent differences? Isn't it? Is variation all about the apparent differences, or is it about some subtle differences as well as that we most often overlook? Okay, the two sides we have to think. Is the variations all about the apparent differences, or it is about some subtle differences as well as that we most often overlook? Okay, most of the times we overlook. If you observe keenly, then only you will find the differences. Okay. So another activity, let us go for another activity. So observe the seeds in a pea or a bean pod. You may observe several parts to arrive at a generalization. What is the generalization? after observing 3 or 4 varieties of the same species of the same plant, then you will come to one general opinion, okay, one opinion, okay, that is called generalization. Okay, you may observe several parts to arrive at a generalization. Then can you find 2 similar seeds there? 2 similar seeds. The seed may be round, the seed may be wrinkled, the seed may be, okay. So can you find any 2 similar seeds there? So what makes them vary? So if not, what makes them vary? Different, look different. So here a hint is given. You know that the seeds are formed from ovules. Okay. Why the variations are important, children? How are variations useful for an organism or a population? It is most important. Okay. Over centuries, the variations and their role in nature have been studied by naturalists, the scientists who study the evolution. Okay. During early 19th century, a lot of work was done by several scientists. Some of these studies will help us to understand how variations occur and are transferred from one generation to the next. As a result of the experiments of various scientists, we could able to understand the term variation and its importance now. Okay. So we shall study a detailed account of experimental evidences provided by Mendel in the early 19th century, who is known as father of genetics. Who is known as father of genetics? Mendel is known as father of genetics. What is genetics? Genetics is the branch of biology that deals with the study of heredity and variations. Heredity and variations, and Mendel is considered as the father of genetics. In the early 19th century, he conducted so many experiments. In 1857, Gregor John Mendel started working on the problem of how variations were passed from one generation to another generation. Okay, this is called heredity. So how the variations, the changes pass from one generation to another generation. This was the question arised in the mind of Gregor John Mendel. So he started working on this problem. In which year? In 1857. Mendel did not do his experimental work either in a university or in a laboratory. Then where he has done? As he was a monk in a monastery, he simply did his experiments in the monastery garden. Okay. So his interest in the agriculture, he is basically a mathematics student. Okay. So he started calculating what are the changes, what is the change in the color, how the color is transferring, and all these experiments he has conducted in the monastery garden. Okay, he worked for over 7 years. 7 years, after which he presented the conclusions from his experimental data in the form of a detailed research paper. The Mendel made many careful observations of plants and found that pea plants would be most suitable to carry on further experiments. Okay, he not only did experiments on pea plant, but other plants also he has selected, but he found a lot of variations in the pea plant. So he selected the pea plant as the experimental tool. Okay, and he carried many further experiments on the pea plants. Okay, further we are going to discuss in the next session. Okay, stay tuned, children. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.